Frieza Diamond is the latest and newest form that Frieza will reach in Dragon Ball Super, and I can prove it, but only if you promise to watch the whole video, so I'm counting on that, guys. The video here is insane. You know what else will be insane? Your help. That's right, I ask for your subscription to the channel, your like, and that you activate the notification bell. The new and final transformation of Frieza is the Diamond form, and I can prove it to you. For many years, since we've known Frieza, we haven't had much information about other descendants or ancestors of his race, right? Only him, his father, and his brother, Cooler. Cooler, Frieza's older brother, is not even considered a canonical character in the Dragon Ball universe. At least not yet. He appears in 2 movies, Dragon Ball Z, Cooler's Revenge, and Dragon Ball Z, The Return of Cooler. Currently, we also have Frost, of the same race as Frieza, who lives in Universe 6, the twin universe of 7. Only these for now, Cold, Frieza, and Frost. If I tell you that Frieza's transformations are connected to diamonds, and also to his mental state, you'll think it's crazy, right? Well, when I created this theory a long time ago, I also thought I was crazy. So, I decided to bring it back here for the people who are new to the channel and haven't even heard this theory. And if you are one of those who saw it before, then watch it again, because we have more evidence besides what you've already seen here. Come with me, because your mind will explode with this explanation. Speaking of exploding, you've already left your like, right? Take advantage and comment a lot on what you thought about this crazy theory before watching the video. Frieza, one of the most iconic villains of Dragon Ball, has had several transformations throughout the series. We met him on Namek with 3 main forms, then his mechanical form, the recent Golden Frieza, and currently the most powerful, Black Frieza. Throughout the series, he adapted to his environment. I believe that Frieza's golden form was something mental, his goal at that moment. At that time, his revenge was against the Scions, so nothing better than defeating them with the color of the form that defeated him more than once, by Goku and later by Trunks. He kind of assimilated that mentally and acquired this form. We can clearly see this parallel in Frieza's concept, who hated the Scions mortally, and the predominant color was yellow when both transformed. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, we have the Black Frieza form, which curiously appears after he finds a time room on some conquered planet. This shows that he's still continuing with this planet-stealing scheme. Anyway, his color now is black, and as if by magic, the hatred he held for the Scions disappeared, as we see in the manga's introduction page, where he shows his new form to the Z Warriors. In this case, Goku and Vegeta, who were on planet Cereal. In the saga where he reappears, he says he seeks greater goals and has left aside the hatred for the Scions. We know these words carry enormous weight. Frieza's evolutionary and temporal line is very different from many mortals, including the human race. Theoretically and proven, he was still just a child in his species. Taking that into account, we see that now, after spending 10 years in the time room, he had enormous evolution, not just physical, but mental as well. Over the years and previous events, I believe he seeks something much greater now. A clear example is that during the Tournament of Power, he saw a lot and absorbed knowledge about gods, egos, angels, and everything else. The new color of his form reflects where he trained to achieve it and what the black form represents. Besides total darkness, not just of the universe, but something very specific, the energy of destruction. Although it doesn't have the exact color, it has a strong representation in that sense. Therefore, the path he might follow could be to take Beerus' place as god of destruction of Universe 7, or indeed conquer the entire universe, as it has always been his goal. So, could Frieza represent a diamond in the Dragon Ball series? He started as a rough diamond, already considered the strongest, even without being polished, since his race has a great evolutionary capacity inherited in its lineage. After he started being polished, he evolved Yellow, which represents the desire to kill the Super Scions, and now Black Diamond, which represents the desire to eliminate a god of destruction and consequently conquer the universe, abolishing the natural course of things created by Zeno. As far as we know, what to expect from him and his next transformation then. I did a brief research about diamonds themselves, and what Frieza lacks now is a purer color that he has not had yet. In this case, white or grayish. This could be his last and most powerful transformation. And who in Dragon Ball Super represents white? Yes, if you answered the angels, you got it right. So, if Frieza Black's current plan succeeds, expect that the rarest jewel in the world will be represented in the color of his next transformation, not necessarily with the name Frieza Black or Frieza Golden, but something more symbolic, Frieza Diamond. Diamonds of other rare colors like orange, purple, and gray can also provide important geological information. These colors usually result from unique combinations of elements, traits, and environmental conditions, offering clues about the various processes occurring in the mantle and the Earth's crust. In this case, represented by Frieza, absorbing not only the external environment, but also the internal one, being able to reflect its current color in its current goals. And to represent this final form, nothing better than the color of the Cullinan diamond, the rarest in the world. Its largest gem is called Cullinan I, or the Great Star of Africa, which weighs 530.2 carats, 106 grams, being the largest cut diamond in the world until the year 1985. So, guys, what do you think of all this about the Emperor of the Universe, the Great Frieza? Did I manage to convince you? Whether yes or no, it was a good theory, right? Anyway, comment a lot, it helps the channel. If you got this far, comment if you love or hate Frieza's new personality. Speaking of personality, he remains terrible, and even more so after the Granola saga, where he showed coldness. Frieza and coldness, hee, all connected, right? And that's what gave a huge air of suspense, which I hope the outcome is as good as this new evolved personality of Frieza, ever since he was introduced to us back in the Namek saga. Frieza was first introduced in the Namek saga, in Dragon Ball Z. He is presented as a powerful and feared galactic emperor, responsible for the destruction of planet Vegeta and the genocide of the Saiyans. Frieza is shown as an extremely cruel and ruthless villain who likes to conquer planets to resell them. Frieza's introduction is gradual, with his subordinates, like Zarbon and Dodoria, appearing first and mentioning his power and cruelty. This helps build tension and anticipation until his appearance. When he finally appears, Frieza demonstrates his overwhelming power and his ability to transform into more powerful forms, becoming one of the most iconic villains of the series. This was clear when we saw the power levels at the time, starting with Vegeta, who was already very strong. Imagine then Frieza, whom he served. This remained until the final battle against Goku on Namek. Before that, Frieza fought Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, and Kuririn, and supposedly killed Piccolo, and Gohan showed he was the heir of hidden powers, becoming furious and launching several attacks on Frieza, but it was not enough. Next, Frieza kills Vegeta, who falls at Goku's feet and reveals that Frieza destroyed his home planet, including Goku's father. Frieza still remembers Bardock. The fight between Goku and Frieza on Namek is one of the most epic and memorable in Dragon Ball Z. Some of the main moments include Goku transforms into Super Saiyan for the first time after Kuririn's death, drastically increasing his power. We also have total desperation. Frieza launches an energy sphere at the planet's core, causing Namek to begin exploding. The fight intensifies, with both using their most powerful techniques. Goku ends up surpassing Frieza in strength and skill. Even after defeating Frieza, Goku shows compassion and offers energy so Frieza can survive. But Frieza tries to attack him again, and then Goku defeats him once and for all. Goku escapes the planet using a Saiyan spaceship shortly before Namek explodes. This battle not only marked Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation, but also consolidated Frieza as one of the greatest villains in the series. What was your favorite part of this fight? And this marked Frieza as one of the greatest villains ever presented in the universe. But after the Super Saiyan's transformations, he was left behind. This was clear with the arrival of future Trunks, son of Bulma and Vegeta. Trunks transforms into a Super Saiyan and, with his sword, cuts Frieza in half, then slices him and destroys him completely. After defeating Frieza, Trunks also eliminates King Cold with ease. This scene is memorable for showing Trunks' impressive strength and for introducing a new and powerful ally to the Z Warriors. There, Frieza's pain and hatred for the Saiyans reached its peak, and after being revived long afterward by his minions, he began this cycle of hatred again up to the present day. As mentioned above, he abandoned the old Frieza, the great Emperor of Universe 7, who will still have his protagonistic arc once more, being the center of attention wherever he goes. Who knows, the next pages of the manga will show what he has been doing all this time and his crazy plans for Universe 7 and, consequently, for the entire Dragon Ball system presented so far in Super. Frieza, throughout the Dragon Ball franchise, has had several forms, and each one brought a distinct coloration that, if we observe closely, can symbolize his mental state, his ambition, and even his narrative moment. His original form, introduced still in Dragon Ball Z in the Namek saga, has white and purple tones, which convey a sense of coldness, superiority, and an imperial aesthetic. This color repeats in other forms prior to the final, each with slight tone variations, but always maintaining an aura of arrogance and calculated coldness. In the final form, Frieza still preserves this white and purple aesthetic, but more refined, with a slimmer silhouette transmitting absolute control, as if embodying pure power without excess. Later, when rebuilt in his mechanical form, he gains a more silver, cold look, as if technology added even more cruelty and lack of empathy to his already cruel nature. This also represents the loss of his original purity, replaced by revenge and obsession. When he returns in Dragon Ball Super, after training for a short time, he reaches the Golden Frieza form. The gold shines with arrogance and ego, as if telling the universe he is a rare jewel superior, and that now his goal was to humiliate the Scions with the same color that symbolizes their legendary transformation. The intense yellow, combined with the dark violet of his eyes, evokes resentment, desire for revenge, and a will to prove superiority. The Black Frieza form, introduced after he spent 10 years training alone in a time room found on a conquered planet, radically changes everything. His body becomes completely black, with silver details and piercing eyes. This color transmits absence of emotion, purity in destruction, total focus, and cold ambition. The darkness of the universe, death, annihilation. All this becomes part of the new concept Frieza now represents. On the other side, Frost, Frieza's counterpart from Universe 6, has a color palette similar to Frieza's initial form, white and blue. This soft blue that covers parts of Frost's body initially conveys a more trustworthy, friendlier image, almost as if he were Frieza's moral opposite. This aesthetic helps deceive both the viewer and the characters in the Tournament of Power, when Frost poses as an honorable person, a defender of justice. But soon it is revealed that he is also corrupt, treacherous, and driven by self-interest. The blue, which could represent calm, diplomacy, and wisdom, is distorted by his true nature, creating a deliberate contrast. Unlike Frieza, Frost does not reach more advanced transformations like the golden or black, remaining limited to a form similar to Frieza's final form in Z. Comparing the colors of the two shows not only their physical similarities, but how each chose a different symbolic path. While Frost maintains a facade of order and false morality with cold and light tones, Frieza explores pride, evolution through pain, and the refinement of his hatreds in new colors. Golden represents an egotistical peak and the pursuit of revenge. Black represents the transcendence of mortal hatred and divine ambition. And the possible Diamond Frieza, if it emerges, should be the final mix of all these experiences in something that represents not only physical power, but also the psychological and spiritual mastery of a being who considers himself above the gods themselves.